Hey guys, who remembers this game? This is G-Darius for the PlayStation, and I'm quite pleased to have finally got hold of it, because it's freaking expensive on eBay. But anyway, yeah, this is a shoot 'em up made by THQ. What does the box say about it? 30 diverse bosses, there's actually 15, kinda, I'll talk through that a little bit later. A hardcore blast. I can't remember if this game really was that well received, but the back of the box says it's pretty good. I played this one when I was a kid, and to be honest, I don't know anyone else who had it, so I don't know how common it was back at the time, but this is a really, really awesome game. So let me show you what we've got here. Now what we have here is way more than just your average bare-bones shmup. There is a vague attempt at a story which in itself is mediocre at best, but after playing this game for a while, you quickly realise there is little to no need for a story at all. This game stands out with its gameplay alone. You pilot a ship called the Silver Hawk. It has 3 different things you can upgrade on it. You've got the main weapon, the side weapon which is a sort of extra line of fire to strike ground targets, and finally you have the shield. As you play, you get different power-ups to upgrade the separate bits of your ship. Get enough power-ups to each particular part of the ship, and it will permanently be upgraded. So your shield will be stronger, your side weapon will also strike targets above you, which is useful for levels where there's ceilings. And your main weapon will evolve from firing just missiles to firing lasers. And after that it gets a weapon called the Wave, which does a lot of damage, and on top of that it's a very wide projectile, so very easy to hit things. Now it's worth pointing out this on the HUD. You see those little bars at the top left corner of the screen as I play? That's the power of each of my upgradable ship parts. To change that to its next type, you need to fill each thing up as I said. If you die, you lose everything. And if you screw up at the beginning of the game, you'll be punished by the end. I'll get into the difficulty a bit later, but know this is one tough game. Anyway, each time you play through this game, you'll be playing just 5 stages. At the end of each level you can choose which level you want to go to out of a choice of 2. Depending on what route you take for your 5 stages, you'll encounter level specific bosses, and the choices you make at the end of even level 1 will decide which end bosses you face. And that's not all. In every level, at sort of the centre point of each level, this little green line appears across the centre of the screen. If you're above it when it times out, you'll end up doing the second half of the level slightly differently to if you'd been underneath it. Now each end level boss has its different set of weapons as well, colour schemes and different attacks depending on what you do at that level split as well. If there is a particular attack set you struggle with, you can make choices to avoid it if you wish. Now, as I said at the beginning, this game boasts about its 30 bosses. In reality there is only 15 different types, but I guess the attack patterns and the colour schemes make them different enough to warrant that boss count being doubled. And the whole level setups combined quickly show how much attention to detail there is. There is random crud happening in the background also most of the time if you have a quick look. Now I think I may as well bring this up now. This game in its entirety is fiendishly difficult. I'm not a master of shmups by a long shot, but I'm certainly not a noob either. On arcade mode I literally bleed credits by the 3rd or 4th level, and that's just on the normal difficulty. And it's not just like there's easy, normal and hard. No, quite the contrary. There's hard, very hard, ultra hard and mania as well on top of that. You think the projectiles are fast in normal mode? Think the bosses taking a pounding in normal mode? No. Those bosses will wear your insides as a hat and point and laugh at your feeble efforts against them if you dare put that difficulty up. Now this is a shmup game to master, and a game that will take some real time and dedication to do so. The controls are smooth and responsive, so it's nothing to do with them. I feel that the difficulty really comes from the sheer amount of enemy bullets and the speed they are, combined with the size of your ship's hitbox. It's pretty much the entire ship. This is none of this death smiles or dead on patchy. If it only hits through the centre of your ship it will count stuff. If the Silver Hawk gets hit, the Silver Hawk goes down. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. One big game mechanic in G-Darius is the capture system, and the sheer amount you can do with it. Now there's lots of different enemy types, and nearly all of them can be captured and used as allies. If you fire a capture ball at them, they will go grey and be dragged towards your ship. As long as you don't die, they will aid you in your battles, and trust me, by the later stages, you're going to need all the firepower you can get. Even the mini-bosses can be taken as allies, although they normally require you to damage them quite a bit first. As you can imagine, the possibilities and strategies you can conjure up using just this mechanic alone are almost endless. Now, taking enemies captive and using their guns is only half the story, and this is good news because once you're bored of using your enemy's guns, you can absorb the entire enemy to unleash a powerful laser beam attack. It's screen clearing in the actual levels, and it's almost essential in a boss battle. A lot of bosses will fire a big laser at you at some point. It's called the alpha beam. If you fire your laser, which the manual says is the beta beam, at theirs, and you mash the fire button as fast as you can overcome and drain their laser, making yours stronger to deal incredible damage. The only problem is the AI is also mashing their trigger pretty fast as well, and if they do it more than you do, they will absorb your laser instead, and almost the entire screen will be full of their projectiles. You do not want that. These lasers can be used at any time during the stages, which does help, although I sometimes found just trying to hold on right to the end with the enemies that I got was more than enough with their firepower doing all the work for me. Now you may have noticed each boss is a fish of sorts. This is a theme that G-Darius sticks to pretty much religiously. Even if the boss isn't actually a fish, it will certainly be another aquatic enemy like a ray or even an octopus. As far as I know, other games in the Darius series, which don't seem to be that well known in our sort of Western game library, they do follow the same principle, fish for bosses. I'm sort of certain the capture system is only in this one though, so it's one for us PlayStation users to enjoy. Now, as far as shooting games go, this one ranks up well in there in the PlayStation library. I would never have even heard about it had I not played the demo disc early on, and God knows how my parents managed to find a copy of this masterpiece when I was younger. I could almost swear I never saw it in any shops anywhere, and out of all the young and upcoming nerds I knew at the time, I was the only one to have this. It was a rare title and still commands about 35 quid plus on eBay, which is quite a lot, considering a lot of PlayStation games I've already got off that site go for just a little over the postage value. And I'm really happy to finally get a chance to play this game again. Now, whereas games like R-Types are certainly better known than this one, if you're a shmup fan and you ever get a chance to play G-Darius, just go for it, just do it, you will really enjoy the game. Now, the difficulty of a shmup should never be a reason not to get it, and I did say it is fiendishly tough, but when you do play, there's even a trusty unlimited continues option, so you can breeze through the game, even if you do spend half of it dead. Now, I suppose my biggest gripe with the whole thing, and it's not even really a problem with the game, but it was how hard it was to get hold of back then, and how difficult it still is to get hold of. If you ask me, this game deserves a remake, even as an online arcade title like Cinemora, for example, on Xbox Live, which is an incredible shmup. Now that game was pretty well received just for being what it was, and I'm pretty sure this game alone with its gameplay and sort of aquatic quirkiness would do just that as well. Now perhaps I'm just pipe dreaming, but this really was a stellar shooting game and it has aged really well. So yeah, if any of you have enjoyed watching this, yeah, thanks very much.